I'm getting a lot of heat these days over my constant carping about the media party. And look, the media party exists. That's the party on Parliament Hill that's made up of left-wing reporters and gallery members that are constantly trying to make sure that their team wins. Well, why am I getting heat over that? Because there have been a number of endorsements over the last few days of Stephen Harper and the Conservatives, or in the case of the Globe and Mail, the Conservatives, but not Stephen Harper. Ray Hurd joins me now from Toronto. Ray, there's a few issues I want to kick around with you, but let's start with this issue of the media party being very left-wing, but then the owners of the papers going, no. Don't put the kid in power yet. We've had the Ottawa Citizen, the Edmonton Journal, the Saskatchewan Star or Saskatoon Star Phoenix, and the Globe and Mail all endorse the Conservatives. And people are saying, see, this proves there's not left-wing reporters out there.
Well, I'd say 80% of the reporters on the national media, the media party, are socialists or very, very liberals. But the Globe and Mail, which is the most bizarre endorsement I've ever read in my life, they have said today, Saturday, what they say is this: you must vote for the Tory party, but you mustn't vote for Harper. Harper has to quit. And this has caused something. I urge our viewers, go to Twitter and you see it's trending, which means a lot of people are tweeting. And they have these funny things. Oh, that's the Globe, but not the Mail. That's the Nazi party, but not Hitler. That's Peter Pan, but not Wendy, and they're having such fun with it. Because you must admit, it is bizarre. It's almost like a Monty Python sketch that the Globe editorial board, and I'll tell you why they did it. The Globe is owned by one of the 20 richest people on earth, David Thompson. Mm-hmm. He's he's 3 times richer than the next richest Canadian, Galen Weston, and he just insisted, because that's the way his family and he feel, that the Globe had to endorse the Conservative Party. So they it's like a judgment of Solomon, cutting the baby in two. So if you read the Globe, you vote Conservative, but you don't vote for Stephen Harper, who leads the party.
The Globe is not a conservative paper and hasn't been for a long time, if it ever was. The Globe started as a liberal paper. It started with George Brown, a reformer, right? And then, but to me, it is the establishment paper. Yes. And, one thing Stephen Harper is not is an establishment guy, even if he's the prime minister.
What it does, it represents the views of what is called the Laurentian elite. These are the bureaucrats and politicians who meet in the Rideau Club in Ottawa. These are the idiots who choose the Order of Canada and ignore Don Cherry and Peter Worthington and people like that. Mm-hmm. So that's what you expect from what is aptly called by you and Ezra and even me, the media party. So the media party thinks it is responsible only unto itself, and those guys are paid a living wage, a good wage, many of them, by billionaires like Thompson, and in the case of Post Media, the other papers you mentioned, Paul Godfrey. Paul Godfrey is a very active conservative.
So is that why, when I read the Edmonton Journal, when I read the Ottawa Citizen, and you see these endorsements, that they're not ringing endorsements, they're begrudging, that the owners have said, we're going to endorse these guys. But the people working at the papers are going, oh, but heavens forbid, I couldn't possibly do that.
That's exactly true. And that's what the Globe takes it into the realm, as you see on Twitter. And I urge our viewers to go to Twitter to see it.
Ray, you live on Twitter. You live on Twitter, my friend.
How stupid it makes people look, Brian, to say, vote the party, but don't vote for the leader of the party. And they actually suggest Harper should quit.
Yeah,
so
but the Globe editorial reads of all these great things they've done, but Stephen Harper's mean, and he had a divisive debate over the niqab, and we don't like that, so he should go, but we like all the policies that wouldn't exist if it weren't for Stephen Harper.
And they also point out the most logical thing that editorial says. They say that the NDP and the Liberals have borrowed or stolen all of Harper's good parties. But the other thing we've got to remember, Brian, on Monday, one of the most important baseball games in history takes place. Guess where?
Well, in
At
history,
the
if you're
Rogers
from
Stadium
Toronto.
in Toronto.
Yeah.
So a lot of Canadians, trust me, and the game starts
8 o'clock.
to be on.
8 p.m. Eastern it starts.
Okay. So there's not going to be much attention. Then the next day, Tuesday, when they still may be fighting over the results, and they will be, because I don't think there's going to be any clear result, that'll be game 4 in the series, which could be the last game in the series. So the timing of this election is bad. And I just want to make a sidebar here. I think Stephen Harper will regret having a long campaign. By having a long campaign, he gave voters time to take a look at Justin, take a closer look, and because the media spun it that way, Justin's popularity has gone up at the end of this long campaign. And Mulcair, if they'd had the election after, say, 32 or 35 days, Mulcair would have done so well that he would have taken a lot of votes away from Justin Trudeau, which helps Stephen Harper. So Harper will regret having a long campaign.
Ray, all I'll say to that is whether Stephen Harper called the campaign on August 2nd or had waited until after September, the campaigning was already underway. The election was, we knew when voting day was, and the campaigning was going on. So
But Brian,
I see what you're saying.
You have to admit Justin was doing very bad for the first month of the campaign. He
started great, and then he went down, and then he's back up, and a couple days to go. We'll see how things come together. I know our friends at Ipsos, Daryl Bricker and John Wright, they've got new numbers coming out Sunday, late Sunday, and we'll see how those go. And then, of course, the last few campaigns when I worked with them, they did big polls on election day and released them at the same time as the polls closed. So we'll see if they do that. Look, there's something big going on Saturday afternoon, and that is the rally it's organized by the Conservatives, but the Ford brothers, Rob and Doug, have lent their support and told their people, the Ford Nation, to go out to it. This is being decried. This is being, tut, I can't believe he would ever go near those people.
Especially by Justin.
Yeah. Justin, who wants to legalize pot, says he shouldn't go near these guys that smoke pot. And, we know that Rob Ford has had problems with crack and other issues. I thought we were supposed to be sympathetic towards addicts. Justin wants more heroin injection sites and legalized pot, but he's against Rob Ford. And I don't get it. But, this is a class thing as far as I'm concerned. They look at the Fords and go, those guys are so low class, how can you be near them?
Yeah. They are grassroots Torontonians. They're very popular. And by the way, Justin's mother had a terrible problem with substance abuse. I saw her on Trudeau's plane before they got divorced. So Justin should keep his mouth shut. Rob Ford has paid his price. He's paid a high price. Mm-hmm. He survived cancer. I don't excuse what he did, but I say everyone deserves a second chance. And the Canadian people gave Margaret Trudeau a second chance. Why not Rob Ford?
Yeah, I mean, you're right. Justin Trudeau is a man who, within his own family, has dealt with issues of substance abuse, mental health issues. Many of us have. Sure. Many of us have had to deal with those in our families, and quite often say, there, but by the grace of God go I.
I sympathize. But that raises another question. While Justin is demonizing Harper and demonizing the Fords for daring to have a rally for Stephen Harper, guess what? The big story in Canada today is the Liberal scandal over the co-chairperson of the campaign, Gan Gagner. Gan has had to resign because they found out, and this is a McLean scoop, Justin, when he said, first he defended this co-chairperson, then he said he had to go, and then he said he'd done something wrong. But guess what we find out today? Justin Trudeau and his party knew that Gagner was double dipping as a lobbyist for an oil pipeline company and giving them advice and accepting money from them while he was the co-chair of the whole Liberal campaign. The Rob Fords, as far as I know, are not the co-chairs of Harper's campaign.
No.
But this guy, this is an absolute disgrace. And I think the media party
let's remind people, he's telling TransCanada, here's how you lobby a Liberal government if they're elected.
And he's accepting money.
He's playing both sides.
Yeah, he's accepting money, and that compromises not just him, but the Liberal Party. And also, Brian, I'm hearing good rumors that some of the top people in the Liberal hierarchy have shares in marijuana companies.
Oh, yeah. No, we know that for sure.
And one of them is a very wealthy person, but I'm not going to mention names now, but I'm hearing that from sources in the medical marijuana industry. Mm-hmm. And these sources are Liberals who are telling me this. They say, we cannot believe that Justin is promoting everyone buying marijuana on the free market, which is basically what he's doing, even though there are experts at Stanford University who told the New York Times marijuana can cause schizophrenia in some cases.
Yep.
So to say that marijuana is not as dangerous as alcohol or smoking is absolute nonsense. It is dangerous. They're all dangerous.
There is this coziness that's going on with certain industries and certain lobbyists, and I think that people have to be worried about that. Now, our friend Warren Kinsella says, you know what? Scandals are not like this, are not vote movers. Do you agree with Warren?
I totally disagree with Kinsella because I was in Quebec. I edited the Montreal Star, so I'm qualified to say this. In Quebec, scandals are very important, and Jean Chrétien and Paul Martin will confirm what I say, because the ad scam scandal brought down the Chrétien-Martin regime, were brought down because Quebecers were outraged that Chrétien was trying to bribe them by showing them maple leaf flags and flying balloons with maple leaf maps on them. So
and you know what?
That's a reality.
With pipelines.
In Ontario, Warren's talking about Ontario probably, scandals don't matter. Kathleen Wynne got re-elected, and she had 5 big scandals.
You know where I think this could play out, and we'll leave on this, is British Columbia, where it's a 3-way race still, and pipelines are very much an issue for those that might have been voting for the Liberals because they saw them as not as cozy with the oil companies as the Conservatives. Yeah. They might be having second thoughts and saying, maybe I should go to the NDP at this point.
I think that's likely. I also think my final point, and I think I'll be proved right on this, the polls were wrong in BC. They were wrong in Alberta. The polls are not that relevant. The polls always underestimate Tory support, and in this case, Bloc support. The Bloc could end up with as many as 16 seats and hold the balance of power on Monday night. I think the polls, and I've got 2 friends, dear friends, who pollsters, who privately expressed some concern at how the polling industry, with a few exceptions, has gotten out of control. And we'll see. We'll see if they're right for a change.
Gallup blew the 2012 presidential election. They've said that they will not poll 2016. And we saw in Britain, where some of the same polling firms are active on both sides of the water, they got David Cameron's victory completely wrong. Ray, great talking to you. We'll chat again after the votes are counted.
Thank you very much.